Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, guys. I'm back. I know they've been keeping that train moving all along. I'm back. And one of the things that I realized, and I hope everybody's doing okay, make sure you chime in on the broadcast as to what you have, what you need in your area. And if I have the resources and I'm close to you, I will definitely help. This whole event has been an eye opener. And, you know, I really want to pull everybody together and talk about it. I was telling them, I'm definitely going to work on some type of weather preparedness kit or weather preparedness guide because there's a before, a during, and an after that you have to consider. And, I hate to go back down this all familiar road of what I always talk about, but I always talk about how money answers everything. And yes, it won't answer your power being out, but it will answer your ability to be able to stay warm even though the power's out. You have options. You have an option to go to a hotel, or you have an option to have wood, or like us, we have a gas fireplace, something that I'll probably never get another house without. I'm always have a gas fireplace. I'm always have a gas stove. Something I'll never put all my power in one source, because if you out, right? Um, but just being prepared, simple things like having your gas tank full and having your pantries full. You don't think it's a big deal, but it's a big deal when you see having cases of water piled up. You don't think it's a big deal until it happens. And you understand everybody trying to get into that same store. First of all, not going to be enough resources. It's just not. Second of all, and this is what I try to tell y'all all the time, and then I'll let y'all weigh in on this. You gotta get off the beaten path. If you're looking for toilet paper and toilet paper is a shortage, you gotta get off the beaten path. You can't go to Walmart and stand in that line with everybody else and think that when you get on the inside, good morning, Nikki, good morning, D. Morris, good morning, England, Dolores, Precious. You can't think that once you stand in that line, all around the corner, when you get in, they gonna have toilet paper sitting there waiting. Those shelves was. Have y'all seen the shelves? Like the meat department shelf. Even the vegetarian meat was gone, y'all. Even the impossible. Somebody got that impossible meat and said, it's possible. It's possible for us to eat that. So you've got to do something different. We were taking an hour trip every day to go to this little town where MJ lives called Cleveland. No line at the Walmart. And every day we would find treasures. So we would find like uh more flashlights, more candles. But like she said, that town only got a population of 3,000. They can't overrun their Walmart. It was no line to get in. Now they did close early, but we would find gas. We would find hot food. There might be a line, but not like Houston. Houston was shutting down bolos, y'all. The whole bolo be just full of, like, say you're in a two lane street. You wonder why that right lane ain't moving all the way down the street, the right lane to turn into a Burger King, to turn into a gas station. They snaked all around. I'm talking about empty. More gas stations out of gas than have gas. Everybody's shelves empty. And it was just a testament to a few things. Number one, thinking outside the doggone box. When no internet, y'all. When no phones, y'all. That's another thing y'all need to realize. When that internet dies, and when that power dies, your tower dies. And if your tower dies, that's no phone. I ain't had no phone or internet for like 2 or 3 days. But you literally got to get in your car and go see. It ain't no just trying to figure it out. But your biggest bet. Good morning, Sister Joanna. Your biggest bet is to get in your car and go outside of the normal. You just can't go to the Burger King you normally go to, or the McDonald's McDonald's has been, for the most part, closed. Chick-fil-A has been closed. All the major restaurants, they've been like, oh no, we're gonna leave our people at home. So I'm gonna let y'all weigh in, but it is, good morning, Ursula. It has been a testament to over preparedness, like doomsday prepper type. It don't never get cold, but where's your space heater? And then bringing that stuff out, because we had a generator and brand new, and the generator wouldn't work. So testing all your stuff in advance, just God, that's why I say I'm gonna do a whole webinar about it. I'm gonna do a whole book about it, because I'm gonna let y'all talk. I'm speechless.
Well, for one, it's exhausting to know that what's happening is that most people, we are accustomed to having the internet, accustomed to having electricity. All of these things we're accustomed to. These are part of our everyday things. And just like some of you guys, the first thing I check when I wake up in the morning is my phone. And if we talk about routines, even this thing that just happened with the weather acting up and like hitting places that weather's never hit like this before, imagine waking up and you can't even check your phone because that's dead. And then on top of that, your house isn't full of blankets and stuff because you're used to 100-degree weather. So now the blankets, I know here in Florida, they don't even sell 4-wheel drive in cars down here. I can't drive my car in Michigan in that snow thinking that, I'm going to be getting it like them big dogs because I don't have 4-wheel drive. So nothing in Texas was ever not even thought that temperatures in which it has reached has come. And then on top of that, you have snow, and not just a little bit of snow, because we've heard of less than an inch hitting or something like that. But roofs down here in the South, they're not accustomed to holding the weight of snow. So you have a lot of people on social media that's laughing, that's used to this type of weather. And I'm like, how can you laugh? Because if snow like that hit where I'm at right now, and I was born in the snow, my kids they've never physically been able to touch snow a day in their life. They are true Floridians. We would not be prepared. We don't have coats. We don't have.
I'm gonna tell you this: run this heat wave through some of the places that, it's relative. If you're normally used to having snow, you're not used to having 115-degree heat index days. And when that does happen, it overrides people's power system. It's just, people got to understand that every situation is different based on what you're used to. Go ahead, Dawn.
I was just thinking about, if people are laughing, how many of those people flock to the South when it's cold up there? So they come to a place that's warmer. So don't laugh at a situation that's dire in this, in this particular circumstance. These were some dire conditions, and it would be difficult for them even up there. Granted, they are used to it, so they are more prepared. But this is, like you said,
but Dawn, this is not me cold because it's 50 degrees outside, because I do get cold when it's 50 degrees outside. Yeah. This is no power
and freezing.
So it was nobody's fault what we're used to. It's our environment. It's the power grid. It's the water company. Right. It's the housing infrastructure. None of those are my fault. I don't control any of those. And so you know, I'm not gonna stick there because that's a less than positive place, and I need to stay in a positive place right now. But we all have to understand that our environments and our infrastructures were created based on our environment. And when that environment shifts, um, then there's almost nothing we can do about it.
But
You
you
know, I
can't,
was
learn about it, like you were saying, writing, doing a webinar, writing a book, so that it's less of an impact next time.
well, you know, Dawn, I grew up in Michigan. So one of the biggest things that I remember hearing about in the summertime was, oh goodness, it's over them 80s. Make sure y'all stay in the house and stay hydrated. Ooh, we got people dropping left and right. And then to move to the south and 80-degree weather, man, that is a breeze down here. We be like, whoo, because we get such high temperatures, and it's just the opposite down here. Look, when it's about to be 50 degrees outside, I'll be like, all right, boys, let's stay in the house. It's getting
It's cold
cold.
here.
Like,
That is a little chilly down here.
yeah.
And so, but I want to make a point because I am who I am. This is why I'm so diligent about resources and specifically having your money right. We were able to find, thanks to Dawn, everybody who dug up people yesterday, but we were able to find a plumber to come out and fix the leak last night. So at least, even though the whole ceiling is exposed, I'm like, is there frost on my window? It is. Even though the whole ceiling is still exposed, we got water. They were able to turn the water back on. That plumber wants $650 cash. He don't care about your insurance. He don't care about waiting on no check. They qualified us before they came. Can you pay today? And that's what they're doing. They're going where the money is. So yes, it's great that you have insurance because some people did not. But you still gotta have cash money to move around in these situations. I'm telling you, we got to get a cleanup crew in here. And where's the cleanup crew gonna go? Where the money is. Everybody is going where the money reside. Where the money reside. And they were literally doing jobs like immediately. Good morning, Van. But you had to have cash money for them to operate with you. Will my insurance company pay me back? Absolutely. But they want their money right now.
Yeah.
So when I tell y'all to keep your pay and weight up, it's not me. It's if you don't know how to get your money right and keep your money right for situations like this, you need to do something about it. I don't care. You don't have to hire me, but you need to do something. Quit running around this world. Look, Van say, I taught them to keep cash in the house. So what if he want his cash and the ATM is offline because of the power? And the difference between you having power is, do you have some money in your house? Y'all run around with these debit cards like these debit cards will save you. Some of them people don't want no debit cards, bro. They want you to put that money in their hand right now before they get started. And they've got, right about now, they've got choices as to who they can work with. They ain't got to work with you. They ain't got to wait on your insurance. They ain't got to do none of that. So you need to, and then not only that, this reminded me as to the value of community, and even local and national. Because even if y'all couldn't do nothing in the flesh, having people to call around, having people, all of that, you need all of that. And then some, because halftime my phone wasn't even working. So it's so much I was reminded of, even down to knowing your neighbors locally. You know, being able to get water from across the street, checking to see when the power is on, when you do leave the neighborhood, having somebody to call you. It's a lot. So if you're not a part of somebody's community right now, you may want to get in somebody's community right now. because I don't see any of this stopping anytime soon. We're literally going from one disaster to another. I mean, things of epidemic proportion. These are biblical plague proportion type events. You got COVID, and you go from COVID, you got fires in California and mudslides, and then you got, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. So nothing is nothing is guaranteed, but I promise you, having the resources and having the community makes it better. It makes it better. You know, you're not by yourself. I had to drive to MJ house 2 days in a row to get wood, an hour and a half away from me. But if I didn't have a connection to the community, then even the money ain't no good.
Well, that's something too you mentioned about having cash. And I know here in Florida, Ebony, you probably know, seen this too. When we have a hurricane coming, that's when everybody does their preparation. They wait till that last minute. And then what do? They spend all of their money on supplies, and then they wouldn't have cash available. So that's definitely something that we have to change our own mindset to make sure that we aren't buying things that we're not going to use. Because, you know, my sons work at Home Depot, and there's a lot of people that buy all these supplies, and as soon as the hurricane's gone, they take it back. They return it and get their money back.
But
well, you know, Dawn,
you got to remember too, even in emergencies, if I don't even know how to explain this. If you're thinking to go to the ATM and get some cash because they just said on the news it's going to be a hurricane, don't you think the 4 million people in your city heard the same news as you and said, let me go get some bread, let me go get some milk, let me go get, the ATMs literally be out of money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just that's a great point. I remember first moving here and, you know, never really going through a tornado. And I remember one year the tornado inside of St. Augustine, it destroyed St. Augustine. Luckily for me, I'm on the outskirts of St. Augustine. And I remember after that year, I told myself throughout the year, I would always have a certain number of supplies on me. You know those big old jugs, that the water jugs, the water used to come in way back in the day?
They still fill them up here in Texas.
Okay, I fill those up with cash and coins and everything. I get my kids in the habit. If you have cash on you, by the end of the day, you go in, you put that cash inside of there, even with the coins. That way, if we ever have faced any type of emergency or anything, we have that pot full.
So let me give you the grown-up version. Get you a set of 50 or 100 envelopes. Put $10 or $20 in each envelope every day and put them in your safe until you run out of envelopes. $10 or $20 every day. At the end, if you do 10, at the end of 50 days, you got $500 in the safe. If you do 20 at the end of 50 days, you got $1,000. Do it until you can't do it anymore. And no matter what, do not. Let me tell you the situations we've been in the safe for. We had to get the car towed one night. We went out in the old school car. Something happened with the alternator. The battery died. And we had to get you can't tow a classic car the way you tow a regular car. You got to get a flatbed. He wanted cash. He said, if you do credit card, I'm going to charge you this much. But if you do cash, I'm going to charge you this much. So, of course, we're going to pay. That's an emergency. That's when you go in the envelope. If it ain't no emergency, you don't go in the envelope. But you can't keep waiting until there's got to be some things you keep on hand regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to get our families ready too. You know, what's the plan? You know, what's the plan to get ready? I can't say it enough, guys. We can't keep living paycheck to paycheck, because I've been seeing some heartbreaking stories on the news. We got to have battery packs for our cell phones. You can't be out in your car, in your garage, with the door closed trying to charge your phone. I mean, it's just so much.
Yeah, that was devastating. And then you have to think about your region and what kind of supplies you need, not just going and buying supplies. Like specifically for Florida, we need to have lumber. We need plywood on hand. And that's something that we run out of at the last minute. So thinking ahead and what you might need in your area is important too.
But, that is so flux right now.
Mm.
It is so...
Yes.
It's okay. Like, if I had plywood, because we get hurricanes in Houston, my plywood would have been in the fireplace.
Yeah.
And that's how we have to think. Like, what are the things we can, So I'm gonna get this camping equipment, but then it can keep me warm.
Coach, you said something. you keep easing over it real quickly, but you said something that's really smart, and I've always thought about it, but I never got it in my house. Even though growing up in the North, a fireplace.
See, I know I said that earlier, Ev. I will never live in another house that does not have, and not just a fireplace, y'all, a gas. Because let me tell you why. I can always burn wood if the gas ain't on. But that wood burns like pain. Do you know how much wood you go through to heat a house?
Especially from the lumber yard, that burns really fast.
Oh, that old processed wood, it burned like a newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
But we had real wood from a chopped tree, and the wood was semi-wet. But once it dried out, that wood was just right. So it's, guys, I have so much to tell. I have so much to tell. I am gonna do a webinar called Weather in the Storm and a book called Weather in the Storm, and I'm probably gonna get it out in the next week because I just want people to have and to know these checklists and things to think about, because getting ready for a storm is not a 24-hour event. Getting ready for a storm, I've come to learn, is a 365-day event. You got to always be thinking, what if? And when you don't think what if, that's when it happens.
Y'all seen those programs that people that are called extremists? I love these kinds of people, but they always prepare for certain things.
Doomsday preppers.
Yes. And I've always loved that. And I've always thought to myself, man, if Florida went down, I want one of them people to be my closest friends. That way I know I'm good.
They mobilize too. They do. They mobilize. They go state to state.
Yes, they be doing everything. They be like, oh, something coming. Pack up. 5 minutes, they done. They done got everything. They done did drills throughout the year. All of this stuff is just so normal for them. The rest of the world, we all panicking like, oh my gosh.
I've been called that. I had stuff from Washington State when I lived there, but when I moved to Florida, I had to get rid of it. So when we had those hurricane threats, I had nothing, literally nothing. So I wish I had some of that still. I was raised LDS, so I had food storage, I had medical supplies, I had bug out bags, I had all those things. And now I'm seeing with what's going on, it's like, oh, wow, we really need to build our stock back up. My sons are, they should be Eagle Scouts. They didn't get through the whole thing with all their badges and whatnot, but they're Eagle Scouts at heart, and they're really resourceful. And that's helpful too, is having the ability to come up with something without having something.
William Harper said, sometimes you guys got to stop thinking city and think nature. Mm-hmm. And that's absolutely right. That's why I said, stop running to the first store you see. They're not going to have it. You need to think off the beaten path. Okay, where can I go? Okay, there's an RV dealership. I bet they got canned food, sterno for the chafing dishes, things you would use in an RV or camping out. I bet they got it. When we ran out of toilet paper, somebody said they went to the RV aisle and got RV toilet paper. You can't think. I'd be so frustrated because I wanted to, y'all know me. I wanted to get out at them lines and say, could y'all not? You're burning up a half a tank of gas to get a tank of gas. And when you leave, you're only going to have half a tank of gas. And then you're going to have to come back tomorrow and burn up that half a tank of gas to get a half a tank of gas. When are you going to do something different?
That's important too, because I know one thing, if you had to leave your home and you've got all this food storage, can you carry it with you? A lot of times you can't carry your food storage with you. So what kind of food storage could you, or what could you enhance your food storage with things that can go with you, or at least sustain you until you can find more resources? What can you live off the land? Like there's plenty of plants out there that we were starting to teach what is edible, what is safe. So those are some ideas too that I think are important to know. What can I survive with?
And to that point, maybe that means not getting your tuna in cans, which is hard to carry, getting it in pouches, getting individuals and stuff, maybe even keeping 3 or 4 backpacks with, granola bars and all of that in them. And you just trade them again.
And don't forget your medication. I had penicillin. All of our medication was sealed in those, what is that thing called? The food saver, where you suck out all the air. I forget what those were called. But that way it's
called a food saver.
Yeah. That way we kept them safe. They would fit anywhere in any of the pouches. I didn't have to worry about a bottle or a container. So those were handy too.
And same with your important documents.
Mm-hmm.
While you're getting your money together for your safe, you need to get them important documents together. So if you got to do a snatch and grab, you got to do a snatch and grab. Mm-hmm. Guys, it's so much. If I host an event, Weather in the Storm, I hope you guys come. And I'm thinking about doing a paid event and letting the proceeds go to the people that, it's going to be some people that don't have insurance, can't meet their deductible. This is going to be a massive, massive, massive. We hadn't even started thinking cleanup because we're still at 20 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
But when them pipes start to thaw, it's going to be people that didn't even know they had water damage. And the thing about water damage is you got to move fast. Like they about to start pulling my floors up now, because when you don't, I'm getting fans today. Because when you don't, now you trending mold, and that makes it even worse.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to let you guys know I'm back. We're about to get back to business today, but now I'm running 2 businesses: the business of getting my house back together, and the business of picking up the pieces in my business. Thank God for a team. That's another thing I can tell you guys. If you don't have a team, if you are a one-man show, stop it. Stop it, because not only could I not work this week, I couldn't even work if I wanted to. So mentally I couldn't work because I was overwhelmed. Every day was like living on Little House on the Prairie. You gotta find food, and you gotta find heat, you gotta find gas. And so by the time we would start at as soon as the sun came up so we could see the road condition, and every day we weren't finished till like the sun went down.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're sure glad to see you back. It was very weird not hearing from you for a couple of days. So I think that's what jumped us into gear.
I literally was off the grid.
Yeah. Well, we missed you, and we wanted to make sure you were good.
God, I was checking.
I agree, but I didn't want to blow up the phones because I was like, I know everybody else is, and when I'm in panic, one of the worst questions and I know it's the best, but the worst is when everybody's asking you, what do you need? What do you need? And you got to spin that battery saying that same message over and over and over and over again. And you got to try to help other people, like, oh no, I'm fine, but you ain't fine, but you can't tell them because they can't handle it, because if they can tell them.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, you don't want to have an attitude with them because you got to figure stuff out, but you can't deal with their stuff too. So
yeah.
Nikki say, I was trying to find you a plumber, girl. You was, Dawn was, Chanel was, my daughters were. It literally took that many people.
I'm glad you found one.
It literally took that many people, so it's crazy.
And you know what?
Go ahead, yeah.
The one thing that I kind of took from this is the world had kind of shifted away from jobs like that. You know, we don't really pay too much attention to the plumbers and the electricians anymore or anything else like that. If anything that the world has shown us now is that those jobs are still very much needed and very essential to our way of living. And them people are to be very much respected and not just
Yeah, we can't survive without plumbers.
I think I'm gonna do a debrief and let everybody give me their point of view to make sure that it happened, that it all comes up in the book. Yasmin said, I'm going to withdraw some cash right now. You better. But you know, my mom was always my connection person. We always had our own plumber and our own electrician and our own this and our own that. You got to get that.
Mm-hmm.
Because in a catastrophe, your plumber is going to come to you faster than they go to anybody else. So if you don't do nothing but get your plumber to pay him a couple $100 a year to come in and test the pipes and check the sinks, he's going to remember you faster. When storms like this jump out.
And they take care of who took care of them.
Everybody does. That's what I teach y'all. Everybody takes care of who takes care of them. So we'll be back a little bit later today, guys. Let me go get this day jumped off. But if you need anything, message me. But it's a lot, and it's gonna be an even longer road to recovery. So y'all have a great morning, and we will talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.